Okay, well, we'll see what happens. Okay, I think I'm live in mine.
Okay.
But we'll see.
All
So
right.
speaker.
Got 10 seconds. I gotta shut the door really quick. Hey guys,
Oh,
I'm on
puppy.
the computer. Don't come in.
Yep, you guys are both live.
All right, here we go.
Oh, you can see me in my group.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, we are here. Let's make sure that we're here though, because I'm not feeling a whole lot of confidence at the moment.
Yeah.
As quickly as we jumped on here. Yeah, so if you guys want to just make sure
Yeah, I'm checking now.
on that end, make sure we're good. I think our sound
I think we are good.
good. Okay, awesome. Welcome.
Yay.
We have Andrea and Dan here today.
Whoa.
And I'm Susan, and we're going to talk about more about what funnel hubs or what we're up to with funnel hubs.
CF 2.0. Okay, so before we
Yes.
dive in though, I have to share, Susan. So I've been sharing this with my clients, keep asking me like, what do you think? How is it? And I'm curious what you guys think about this analogy. So I said, okay, I think CF 1.0 is actually a Ferrari, but it's dressed up as a Pinto. And so we're always having these conversations of like, you have a Ferrari, but they're like, I see a Pinto. And so we're always having to like show and prove and like ClickFunnels can do it. We swear, you know what I mean? Like, so that's what I feel like we're at the state of the union in 1.0. In 2.0, I feel like they've given us a Ferrari. Customers are going to recognize that it's a Ferrari, but it's a Ferrari. And there is a whole lot of lift to learn how to actually drive a Ferrari. I think I've never actually driven one, but it feels like a good analogy. Yeah. But I would much rather the problem than helping people drive their Ferrari and they know it's a Ferrari than helping people drive the Ferrari that they think is a Pinto, so this is my, so far in my rough summary to my clients, my report back from the front lines. That's it.
I do like that analogy. I think you shared that with me the other day and I was like, yeah, that's so true because it's so much easier to they're problem aware, right? It's the difference between being problem aware and not problem aware. Like they now know they have a problem with knowing how to use it. Whereas before it's like, it's easy. I got this. But then they just felt like it was the software that was limiting, like it wasn't going to allow them to do it. It wasn't their skills, right? So they weren't problem aware in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
Dan, thoughts?
Well, yeah, it's definitely Ferrari, but at this point here, they're only a quarter way done putting the Ferrari together.
Right.
And,
it's just the frame of it so far.
They got a lot of parts to outsource yet, and they got a lot of building to do. And so what they gave us so far, or gave Andrea, whose account I've had the chance to look at the inside of, is
because he's a member of my team, for the record.
Yes, and we can't show you anything inside yet.
Right.
Everybody's been sworn to secrecy as far as seeing what's on the inside, but it's a sliver of what this thing is going to become someday. Yeah. And in fact, the first week it was let out, you couldn't even put in a custom domain. And I happen to notice that they have now added that in to be able to put in a custom domain.
Shout out to Ben Moot, actually, who he probably already discovered that, but he was the one that was asking that question, I think, about the custom domain.
Yeah.
I was curious about that.
Yeah, the first 2 weeks, I didn't see anything in there. And then, 2-3 days ago, all of a sudden I saw a little thing just said domains. And I clicked on it and said, wow, okay, this is new.
I think as a side note, the thing that surprised me about that is that I really thought that ClickFunnels was going to get out of the domain management business. They, frankly, I think don't have a part. They shouldn't be in that business, but it still seems like it might be in there, which maybe that's just for legacy, but I don't know.
It's a completely new platform, so there shouldn't be any legacy.
Yeah.
Because anybody who's got a domain over at 1.0, if they want to transfer it to 2.0, you got to transfer it out to a third party, and then you'd have to transfer it into 2.0.
My understanding, and I could be wrong here, but at least on all of my clients who have ClickFunnels managed domains, ClickFunnels doesn't manage it anymore. They send everything over to Cloudflare right now, and Bluehost, I think, they're 100% outsourcing it anyway. So it's really awkward whenever we need to do any kind of like management or DNS activity on the domains, because you have to go through ClickFunnels, the thing goes through this third party. It's so weird. Like, I don't understand why they're still in that game, but Anyway.
Well, my advice has always been don't buy a domain through ClickFunnels.
Correct. Yes.
Just go.
Reemphasize. Don't buy domains.
My favorite is GoDaddy.
Name cheap.
But go to there. Go wherever you want to go. Cheap. Name cheap wherever. Buy your domain there. Run everything through Cloudflare. I have videos on how to do it. Run it through Cloudflare, then into ClickFunnels. Don't.
100%. Yeah.
Literally watched your video this morning as I set up a new domain for a client.
I've done it so many times I can do it blindfolded in my sleep. So
I watch it every single time because I always forget the exact steps.
I mean,
and I'm curious to know, like, has it updated? Because one time you updated it, and Andrea didn't know about it actually.
I know. I was like,
I showed her the other day. I'm like, oh, we need $2 here. She's like, no, it's $1, and I'm like, no, it's $2. You updated it.
Yeah, exactly.
That was probably 2 years ago. I made that change.
Well, I felt like Andrea was doing it. I didn't need it. Yeah, Susan schooled me, so it was good.
Bottom line, go to, what is your website where they can go sign up for that, Dan?
cfninjahacks.com, or just find me on YouTube. Just put in youtube.com/Dan Havey, and I got hundreds of videos.
Cool. And hey, Ivy, nice for you to join us.
Yeah. I was going to ask, so I've been working, I also have access via a client. I'm on her team. Don't come after me, ClickFunnels. But I started designing her funnel hub, and I can totally share the front end of it with you guys today on the screen share.
Yeah.
But I have not figured out how to put in a custom font.
Oh, that was my question.
From a file.
Yes.
Not like a Google font, but like from a file. So I haven't quite figured that out yet.
No,
and it's not usable until I do.
Yes.
Well, the answer is you do it the old way. You always did it. Is you get the file. I don't know what they call it. That snippet of code. You got to put it in there.
WOTF or TTF.
Yeah. The TTF, OTF, whatever those files is what you have to do to put it in there, just like you would have done with 1.0.
But where do you put it? Because I can't upload it anywhere. I tried uploading it into where it looks like you upload files to, and it wouldn't accept the file type. So that's something that they probably need to change, huh? They need to allow that.
I noticed they also don't accept the file type of GIF. So there's definitely some file types that are,
Well, here's a little hack for you then. Upload it to 1.0, grab the link, use it in 2.0.
Thank you.
Really?
I will do that. It's already in there. I'm already using it in there.
I mean, realistically, you can upload it anywhere. You can put it onto your Google Drive. You can put it on Dropbox, Amazon, wherever you want.
Just needs to be hosted somewhere online.
Yeah, it just has to be a file somewhere that you can retrieve.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
And then put it into, you saw where you put in the code. So just put it in the code there.
Yeah. Cool.
And they still, just let everybody know, they do still have the ability to put in custom CSS and header and footer tracking code as well. So they basically, what I would say is they've kept all the good stuff from 1.0 and actually took out a bunch of stuff. Now, admittedly, we have not seen products yet. We haven't seen a lot of things yet. We haven't seen funnels yet even. So there's a lot of elements that we haven't seen either, but they're not necessary to build a funnel hub, which Susan is about to show us, I think.
Yeah, here, I was grabbing that up real quick. You guys are seeing me mess around with my menus and stuff. Okay. So this is for one of my clients. I just used, like, it came preloaded in the account with like a bunch of templates and like, I think they're calling them examples. And so I just took the example that they had and I just went in and started changing all of the branding over. Now I don't know, are we allowed to talk about like the features and our experiences with the features?
I think as long as
can I talk about the style theme? Like just talking about it, not showing it.
Yeah, I think as long as we don't show the editor.
That's my understanding, is we couldn't show the inside of the editor.
We just can't show it, but I can talk about it. So I think one of the things that has blown me away so far is the theme editor. Like we've been speculating on that like crazy of like, what is it going to be like? What's it going to allow us to do? How is it going to interact with the pages? I'm very impressed. Yes. I'm loving it as a designer. It's going to make it so much easier.
Now, to clarify here, Suzanne, you're talking specifically about Susan, not Suzanne. Where'd I get that from?
Because my sister is Joanne and it's confusing.
The
style.
You're specifically talking about the style guides.
The style guides. Yeah. It's kind of confusing on the back end a little bit to me because I feel like they're calling it two different things, or it's nested. One is nested under the other. So I don't know if I should call it a theme or a style or whatnot, but
I think it's a style guide.
It's style guide. So that's what it's called in the bottom left-hand corner. It's also what it's called inside of the code, actually, is style guide.
Okay. So it's the style guide. So first thing I did was I came into this page in the editor and I started playing with things. And I think I started playing with the header, which is a universal section up here. And sorry, maybe I can make this view better for you guys. Hold on a second.
It looks great.
How do I do this? Well, for you guys, it's great, but for the
on my mobile, it looks good too.
Yeah, I'm full screen on my computer.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. Well, okay. I'm moving stuff around though. Here we go.
Okay.
It's not my normal view. What is happening? Okay. Anyway, so I started editing the universal header, and then it invited me like to go in the settings that pop up over on the right side. It invited me to go and like edit in the style guide or whatever the word is that they have there. And so I did that. And then that was my entrance into the style guide. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can edit everything here. I can edit what all my fonts are going to look like. I can edit what they're going to look like on different colors of my background, the different shades. They have what they're calling like the light all the way. There's like a bunch of different grades all the way to like the dark themes of the backgrounds. And you can just have like a one click and then it'll change all of your fonts and font colors to whatever you need them to look like, whether your background is light or dark. And the buttons, I'm just like, I won't go through all of the things because there's a lot of things you can edit in your style guide. And I was very impressed, and it's going to make it so easy to go in and make pages quickly and make them consistent with each other, which is really important for brands. Anyway, we can take a quick look at this. It's probably not that much different than the one that Andrea showed us last week.
Do you want me to go a little bit further on what you were saying in the text? Because with the style guides, how it's working now is you can set up text. We'll just stick with text here, but the same thing for buttons, borders, shadows, and colors. It's all the same here, but just for text, you can set up 3 different text sizes. So you got your headline, your subheadline, and your content font. But then within those 3, you can set them based on, I think it's 6 different color palettes. So like Susan was saying, from your light to your dark, so you got your lightest color palette all the way to your darkest color palette. There's 5 or 6 of them. And so you can set them up differently, the colors for each one of those fonts based upon that color palette. Mm-hmm. So you basically have, 3 times 6 times whatever. I don't.
Yeah,
it's a lot of different options on how everything can look. And you just build that one time. And then when you go into an element, so you pull in a headline element, like you see here, join my mail list, you can just say, okay, what size do I want it to be? You click on it. And then now that I think about it, where do you pick the darkness? Whether it's light or dark.
So when you go to the section settings, it's in there. So it's in the settings for the section, and you choose like, okay, it's a section level. So what is my style for this section?
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. So there's 2 places then, and you can just 2 clicks. Basically, you have just populated the entirety of your fonts, your font sizes, and the colors of everything within that section, and it'll match them throughout your entire theme.
So for example, right now I have kind of like a medium toned background in here. It's not quite light. It's not super dark. It's kind of the in between. If I were to go and swap this out for like a white background, then all of a sudden my text is not going to show up because it's light. It's almost white. And so I could go into the section settings. I could click on it. I could go and choose that I want my light style, and then it'll change all of this to like, this will be, let's see, I have like dark pink up here. It'll switch this over to dark pink. It'll switch some of this to like black text instead of the light text. And all of a sudden it's like, it's done. I don't have to go into every single text element and change it and make sure everything's good. And you can even set the color that you want your like icons, your little check marks to be in the style guide. And then the buttons are a whole nother thing. The buttons are like the they give you three options. You have 3 presets, and then you just go into your button and you can choose which one you're wanting to show up. So for me, I made a lighter style, a darker style, and then like an in-between style.
Yeah, I love it. I'm with you, Susan. Like the style guide and use of it is a game changer.
Yeah, for sure. Anything else that we want to talk about at the top of the page that we haven't talked about? Anything new that you've noticed or anything like that?
Oh, well, you do have one thing there at the top that's new, and it's a built-in menu element.
Yeah. Yep.
Which includes drop-down menus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And automatically goes to a hamburger bun on mobile.
Nice.
Yeah.
Just so
we
awesome.
can
no more Dan code. No more Dan hamburger code.
Yep. There goes my job. I have nothing to do anymore.
I don't think so. Remember, Ferrari. Not a lot of people know how to drive a Ferrari, Dan.
So then it opens
like
up. This isn't ideal to me, though, looking at it like this.
That is definitely, I will say, I looked at that element and it's definitely got a bunch of bugs in it. But that's, again, why we're pre-beta testers here.
Yeah.
Is there's a lot of bugs in here, kids.
And obviously, I have not made this mobile friendly yet.
Well, but I think it goes back, though, Susan, to remember last week when we were looking at mine and the promise of them being more responsive is there, but we're not quite seeing it yet. So I think it's kind of like a TBD on the responsive nature of these.
Let's take a look at that, see if they happened, if we notice anything. I don't know. I don't have any big words. Maybe if we scroll down, okay, so we've got like her name. Hi. It's moving in entire words. Nothing I'm noticing is like breaking the word up. Let's try right here. Of course, we were looking at it.
There is weird behavior in terms of like right now we know that like bottom sections cover top sections, but there's some weird behavior in terms of like right there where it says it's like the second paragraph in the brown.
Oh, section. Right here. Yeah.
Right. How it gets cut
off. Is that covering it? Or is it just that there's not padding? There's just not padding there. So it is showing all of it. So we end with this elet. Yeah, there's just no more padding between that section and the next section. So that's good to see. And it's because there's no padding at all, because then like, in 1.0, if you have padding on the row, then you can't snug your picture up to the bottom of the section. So you'd have to add in the column to fix that. You'd add bottom padding in the column, which doesn't look like it's there right now, but probably could go in and add that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not seeing any issues though with the text wrapping, at least on this one.
Right.
It might just be the words that I have on the page.
Right. I mean,
but like before, what we were seeing was like if section was wrapping, then like SEC would be on the top row, but then TION would wrap down to the bottom row, and it was like disjointing like the words.
Yeah.
But
the case we saw in Marketing Secrets was, I think it was the word experiments, that was 100-point font, and it was just gigantic, and eventually runs out of room.
Oh yeah, see, theirs is still doing it here.
That's why in a case like that, you want to, especially in a big word like that, you want to make it more responsive. And I was looking at that some more the other day, and I'm like, I said, oh, it's easy. Yeah, it is. But then I started looking at it, and there's like, there's a lot of corner cases where it still was going to break. So I got to do some more work on looking at that and seeing what we can do regarding making the text responsive.
Okay.
So ideally, sorry, Andrea, I was just going to say, ideally, we would, at this breaking point right here where the S wants to pop down there, we want the word experiments to start actually getting smaller so it doesn't have to break like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the font size is responsive to the viewport width.
Yeah. Okay, Andrea, what were you going to say?
No, I was just testing out to see if the custom font will work with it hosted on 1.0 and fail. It doesn't work. There seems to be something, and I could totally be doing something wrong, but like right now, and Dan, keep me honest here. Right now, how you go into CSS, you point the reference, you have the font code, and it controls the stuff on the page, but there's always this little bit of weirdness that if like a particular element has a font selected, it'll trump the CSS. And so you have to go out and like, X out the font, trying to get it back to default. Do you guys have this? I have this problem all the time. So like you have to like click on and like cancel the font selection to make sure that it's on the default font, and then it'll go towards what's in the CSS. So what I see right now happening is like I did input the font code, but it seems like all of the elements are taking on what the element font is showing. You know what I mean? And there's no way for me to like cancel it. Do you guys track that?
I'm not quite sure.
Okay, so you put
basically it's not working yet.
you put in a custom font. You put in a custom font, and then you said whatever element, give that custom font, and the editor is overriding it.
Yes.
Yes. And that's because inline CSS will always override any other CSS.
Right.
But now there's a problem in 2.0 that technically is not inline CSS.
Oh, okay.
So I'd have to look at that further. Maybe just putting an important tag value, whatever you want to call it, at the end will clean that up and make it override.
Okay. Yeah.
You may also be targeting the wrong element. I saw on some other code you had the other day, and I've seen other people do this, and I've seen it in the marketing secrets, is that they just put in like blanket code like body, and then everything gets that font. Well, and then you come along later and then you say headline gets the same font. Well, you already defined it at the body level. You don't need to redefine it at the headline level. It's already there.
I have two different fonts though. I have one for my H1, H2, and I have another one for my body.
Okay, but the body will override everything because the body is the entirety of the document.
Okay, so paragraph is the better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Well, assuming I'd have to look in the code to see if there's actually paragraph tags. I think for the most part they're using spans, not paragraphs.
Okay.
So we'd have to figure out what exactly the proper tag is for it.
Okay. And it does look like we still only have the H1, H2, right? Like we didn't get an additional, because it has the header, the subheader, and then we have the paragraph. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, like I said, I still have to see what the actual code is using for the tag on that. You're right. I'm pretty sure it is H1 and H2, and then I'm not sure. I don't think it's a P tag though.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Well, that'll be to be continued. The good news is that it seems like it might be possible, but there just doesn't seem to be a clear way to override the element level font selection.
Yeah. And that's a case in WordPress too. WordPress always had that same issue where you could have competing fonts, and it all depended when you were in the editor which order you changed them in, because you can change it. So you click on the element and you go in, you get the sidebar comes out, and you go in and you choose a font, or you choose a font decoration like an underline or an italics or something like that. But then you can also still click on the element itself and have the little blue bar pop up and change it there. Well, which one gets precedence? And sometimes they conflict with each other. Like I said, it was a problem that they've always had with WordPress.
Yeah. And in the style guide how to do that, but yeah, I know we're getting super in the weeds, but
no, sorry. I was just going to say one thing that Andrea and I talked about last week was the like third-party integration type stuff. Like, how is Elf site going to work on here? I put 2 Elf site things on here. However, this one seems to be having an issue, and I don't think it's a ClickFunnels thing. It seems to be that would be like an Elf site thing because it's loaded, but like half the this is an Instagram feed, so it's supposed to be an entire grid of the posts, and I'm not sure why like half of them aren't showing up.
I wonder if it's the container size. I've had some of that issue before.
It worked when I first loaded it in, but today it's not working. So I'll have to see if I can figure that out. But then this is also an Elf site code in here, and that one's fine. So it was, seemingly no issues, but we'll see why this is happening. Yeah, it was,
Now, did you use a custom HTML box for that?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, try to do they give you maybe sometimes with Elf sites I have to toggle to third party instead of HTML.
Do you do that in Elf site?
No, you do it in ClickFunnels.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was wondering about that. And I don't think that I saw that option.
It's not in 2.0.
No.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
Yeah.
What is that? What exactly is that option, Dan? Like, why does sometimes third parties work with HTML and sometimes you need to do the third party embed?
I got to be honest, I don't know.
Okay.
I can make
something up.
I
just tried both until it works.
And it obviously is a difference because some of the things do not work until you switch it over, but then other things like it doesn't matter. So it's kind of weird. But yeah,
if that continues to be an issue, what we can do is we can go back into 1.0 and build one with the third party turned on and the other one with the third party turned off, see what the difference is in the code, and then just take that code and hard code it into the HTML box.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. I think I just discovered something on the fonts.
Okay.
So I'm using Style Guide.
Do you want to share? Oh, you can't share. You're in the back end.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm using the Style Guide, right? But in the Style Guide, there's no way to inject code into the Style Guide.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can't put any custom fonts into the Style Guide either.
Right. So
which hopefully is
right. But if we think about the Trump power, right? So it's like you have the Style Guide, you have the funnel code, you have the element code. So then it's like, okay, it should be the element code unless you turn it off, and then it's this funnel code, or there's a Style Guide trump the funnel.
Well, if you call in an element, so you go into a headline element, you click on there and you say you want extra large. So if you do extra large, then it pulls in whatever information you have set for that extra large font.
Okay.
And then so it puts that in there based again upon the style that you set for the section as well. But then if not, then you can go down below and you can click on another button and said, was it override or something like that, where you can go in and build out the element however exactly you want. You're not pulling in from the Style Guide, you're building it yourself when you click on override.
But then are we back to having to do it element by element?
Well, yeah, but you may
custom fonts.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they put in all the different options. Now that you're stuck having to pick between the 5-6 different options that you created in the Style Guide, this gives you the ability to be able to override it at any time and say, okay, well, in this case here, yeah, sure, I want that font, but I want it to be bold instead of what I had, and I want it to be underlined, where again, I didn't have that set in the Style Guide.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. That'll be an interesting little just like what trumps what's in charge right now.
Yeah.
What do I
and like I said, there's probably going to be some conflict in there because WordPress, as far as I know, has never figured it out.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anything else we want to add? I mean, there's not a whole lot different this week than last week. There's
the only thing is that I have started to really dive into the blog part, which is open.
Oh, okay.
I think going back to what Dan was saying in terms of, I really think that it's maybe just the wheels of the Ferrari right now. It's pretty buggy, so it's kind of too early for me to report back, you know what I mean, about like what's possible on that blog front. I mean, it's clear that they have dynamic content in there, which we know is critical for any blog engine, but the being able to create blog posts is still pretty buggy. So it's too early to really talk about it intelligently. Would you agree, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, basically we have the frame, to our car analogy here, we have the frame of the editor, and we have the style guides, and we have a maybe or maybe not working version of the blog stuff. I haven't played around with the blog stuff yet. The little I did, I wasn't getting too far, and I got tired of it. And I'm more interested in looking on the inside than playing around with the blog. But yeah, I mean, basically we got the chassis and we got some wheels, and there's a lot more parts that need to go into this thing, including the engine known as the funnels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
What we're all waiting for.
Yeah.
Well,
and the carts and the follow-up funnels. And I mean, the biggest problem I think they're going to have with the next step, which would be basically giving us the funnels, is the follow-up funnels are 100% integrated right into the funnels themselves. And so that all has to be, I don't know, maybe they can piecemeal it out, and they might, but it seemed pretty integrated from the stuff I've seen from the videos they showed us.
Yeah. Which is really interesting because that's like, I mean, I have a good part of my business is active campaign, consultation and strategy and integration with ClickFunnels. And so I'm probably highly skeptical, you know what I mean, of somebody being able to replace an active campaign, but I'm super interested in that opportunity, if it helps people save money. So yeah, to your point, Dan, that definitely opens up a whole other Pandora's box when you start going down that path.
Yeah. And all the analytics are built right into it too.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, when they get this thing pulled off, and I think they will, when they get this pulled off, it's going to be incredible.
Well, and they're starting to get a little bit louder about Funnel Hacking Live, which I think will be probably the biggest motivator in terms of like, there's got to be some serious traction. You know what I mean? Just for Funnel Hacking Live, since they officially announced it, the first Funnel Hacking Live, yeah.
Maybe that could potentially be, hey, we're giving it to other people in beta now.
You get a car. You get a car.
Not launch, but more beta.
Yeah, I hope the Funnel Hacking Live people from last year get it before Funnel Hacking Live this year. That certainly would be nice.
Right.
Okay.
But who knows?
All right. Any other thoughts that can't wait?
Nope. That's it.
Nope.
Go
Awesome.
get back to your class.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keep hitting us with any questions that you guys have on 2.0, and anything else that you're like curious about, and we'll bring it onto the show, and we'll keep building and reporting back for the front lines.
Yep.
Yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
See you guys later.
Bye, guys.